Good morning. TGI.
How's the lighting?
How's the lighting? The lighting sucks. There's no natural lighting because this morning it's still daylight.
Like every other
stupidity.
morning?
Well, because it's so dark and it's 6:30 and it's like feels like it's, the middle of the night still outside. Hey, Jen, I saw your pictures with Ryan Seacrest. Whoop, whoop. So cool. She went to like the Today's thing.
Oh, right. I remember you saying you're on your way. You're waiting online to go.
Those pictures looked cool. Was it
I
fun?
missed it.
Did you have a good time? Hey, good morning, Andrea. So what are we talking about today?
Well,
hi, David. Good morning. Good morning, Iris.
So we had an observation yesterday as far as how people handle things. And it was interesting how we both had an experience discussing
the differences,
issues, perhaps.
The difference between men and women.
And how they process and so forth. So
tell the story about racquetball.
Okay, so I was playing racquetball, and I do my best to play in the mornings to prime the day and get the energy going and all of that. And so there was these two guys that I've been playing with, and they're different personalities. One is a bit of a curmudgeon. He's of a European nationality and from New York. And the other guy, I don't know where he's from exactly, but he's a little more laid back, but equally sort of doesn't take a lot of crap. And it's interesting how just over the years, I've gotten to the point where, a couple of emotions that I usually ran were depressed or pissed. And it was easy to piss me off. And I didn't like living that way. And these two of them are both easy to piss off. So yesterday we were playing racquetball, and every time we play cutthroat, there's always a little bit of an issue, and they always have a little bit of a shortness with each other. So yesterday we played, and after the second game, you could tell there was something going on. And after the second game, the one curmudgeon-y guy goes to get some water, and the other guy was like, "Man, I am so pissed off. That guy is such an asshole." He's like, "Oh man, I just got so pissed off during this game that that's it. One more game and then I'm done. I can't take it." And I'm like, the guy's just, and I just chalk it up to him being a little bit social awkward. And I don't when he's like that with me, I just let it roll off, and I don't get confrontational because there's no point, because it's usually over something really stupid. So he came back from getting water, and you could just tell there was tension. He couldn't hear what we were talking about, but you could tell there was something going on. So he comes in, he opens the door, and he's like, I don't think I'm going to play more. I think it's better that I leave. And then he left. And there was almost a start, there was going to be a thing of hey, is there a problem? But this one guy didn't do that, because I've seen him do that as well. Just go up to someone randomly. He's like, "Yeah, I heard you were talking shit about me." And he'll
in
do
this
stuff
case,
like that.
so what happened after?
So then
he called you.
Yeah. So then, So he left, blah, blah, blah. And then we played a couple more games, and all was good, me and the other guy. And then I go to my phone. When we're done, on my phone, it says, "Hey, Doug, when you get a chance, when you're done, give me a call." I was like, "All right." So when I was done, I gave him a call, and he's like, "Hey, I don't think I'm going to play with him anymore. We're not vibing. It's not cool. So I think, let's just you and I play, or I'll play with anybody else but him." I was like, "All right, you want to play tomorrow?" And we're going to play this morning.
Yeah.
And that was that.
And
it was over. They both kind of vented, and then
they
done.
both realized that they don't like each other. So they were like, "You know what? I'm just not going to do this anymore."
Yeah. Done.
Now, when we speak in generalities, please do not get me wrong. Not all men are this way, or all women are this way. But I've noticed, I've been doing this for 20 years.
There's some patterns.
A couple patterns, a couple little things. And one of these is when men, what I love about this is these men were just felt the vibe, walked in and went, "No, I'm going to take my toys and go home." And they didn't feel bad about it. They didn't have any qualms about it. If that would have been, from my perspective, a bunch of women, it probably would have gone down like this. They would have been playing the racquetball. A woman would have come back in, sensed somebody was talking about her, and pretended like she didn't care or didn't notice it, and then walked into the racquetball court.
Or
then
maybe
after,
do some little digs while they're playing just to push buttons.
Yeah. Then after the racquetball, she would have pulled aside the one friend and said, "Was she talking shit about me? What happened?" And the other one friend would have been like, "Well, no, not really," lied. And the other friend would have called and said, "I can't stand her," and then said, "Let's all go to lunch," right? Women, for whatever reason, I think sometimes we feel like an obligation when we know somebody doesn't like us or is talking shit on us or is not a fan of us to A, pretend we don't know it, B, pretend it doesn't bother us, and C, somehow win them over. And try our best to like, oh, they don't like me. Oh, watch, now I'll really get in there and try to make them like me or whatever, or pretend it
or
doesn't
show
bother
them up, intentionally show them up.
What if we took our toys and went home? What if in our own friendships and our own relationships that we were brave enough and bold enough, courageous enough to walk in and be like, you know what? It's like, it's the worst thing in the world when somebody goes to a party, and I've been at these parties, where one of the girls that are invited to the parties, it could be me, it could just as very easily be me, but nobody likes the girl. And as soon as she walks out of the room, they all start talking smack on her.
Can you
oh God, can you believe? And then she leaves, and then she walks back in the room and says, "Hey girl, oh hey." It's like, if I was that girl, honey, tell me. If I'm the girl that I leave the room and people are talking smack and don't want to be around me, don't do me any favors by inviting me to the thing. Well,
like, where
why pretend to be like people you don't like? Life's too long to do that.
And yet, here's what's interesting. You could see this on Housewives.
You see it because our models are, oh, nobody likes her, but let's bring her and have her. It's ridiculous. And I honestly have no time for it. Well, I mean, once I in my own life have conquered this people pleasing, perfecting kind of thing, like I just don't. Now I've had friends that have had conversations about other people where I'm like, look, I just don't see it that way. So I'm not going to engage in this conversation with you. So if you want to feel that way, you can, but I don't line up with that opinion.
I will say I was grateful that
they didn't enroll you.
Yeah, that he didn't. When he,
right.
Part of me when I got that call, I was like, oh man, he's gonna want to like talk about this, and I don't want to be in that position. I was already planning on what I was gonna say to shut that down and be like, dude, I'm not talking. Like, really?
That's
like,
my friend too.
Yeah, don't put me in the middle of this. But fortunately, he was like, yeah, and I just don't want to play. I was like, oh, good. It's because. I mean, men do it too, to a certain extent.
Pretend to put up with people and then talk smack behind their back. I just think, what would the world be like if we did an integrity? Martha Beck calls it an integrity cleanse. I think that's what her new book's going to be about. I love her. She's Oprah Winfrey's life coach. She's a life coach. She's like 3 Harvard degrees. She's very smart. And the point is like, what if we did that in our own lives, an integrity cleanse, and looked at our lives? What if we stopped pretending to like the people we don't like? What if we stopped pretending to want to be in these relationships with people that just aren't beneficial for us? What's the payoff? What's the point of that, right? There is no point. It's like, just be radically honest. You know what? I don't really like you. I don't want to hang out with you. Or tell the other people, you're not my tribe. We're so concerned about like burning a bridge or upsetting somebody. It's like, set the bird free, man. Let them fly. They'll find their own other flock.
There is a caveat here. This is when you're talking about personal relationships and the time you choose to, spend and so forth. There's a little bit of a balance when you're talking about like how you handle with grace and elegance, like your business and clients. Like, you definitely don't be working with people you don't want. Fire your clients.
Fire your clients. Life is too long. If you're working with somebody, now this is important.
Yeah.
And every time I don't work with anybody that I don't love. And I tell people no all the time. Some of you might know that if you go through an interview process, it's a mutual interview. Do I want to work with you as much as you want to work with me? Because I need to be excited and passionate. If you have a client coming into your space and every time they're ready to be with you, you get a sick feeling in your stomach, you start thinking about, oh shit, let them loose. You're not doing that client any favors at all. When we used to work in treatment, we would have people that would take other people's kids. And this is this conversation on a bigger scale. We have people that would take other people's kids and raise them, right? Like the daughter would go into treatment and the mom or the grandma would take the toddler. And one time in the family program we run, if you're interested in a family member, we have a program now that we still offer. But the woman in the back raised her hand and she was probably like 65 years old. And she goes, well, I don't want to raise this baby. I have a 4-year-old, and what am I going to do? And I don't want to raise this kid.
I'm 75.
I'm saying, 65 years old. And the women in the front did this thing that were the racquetball maneuver, looked over each other and went, can you believe she said that? She better raise that baby. Who's going to raise that baby? She better raise that child up. And like,
you don't abandon a child like that.
And so they went into like, oh, you just suck it up. You just do what you don't want to do in life. And so I said, excuse me. Thank you for saying that, because I'll tell you what, do you think the child doesn't know that you don't want to raise it? Because the child knows. The child knows there's a sense of like not belonging or resentment is feeling that. It's better that you're honest and say, I don't want to be in this dynamic with you. Give that child who's somebody who's dying to have that child, because there are plenty of people who would die to have a child, and release the child to a better opportunity instead of thinking you're being dutiful hanging on. It's like friendships. You have that friend that you don't like and be around, and you think you're doing that friend a favor, but heck no, let them loose from you so they can be with their real people that really love them.
Well, and then they wonder, like sometimes we wonder why we feel so,
I don't know why I'm preaching.
So like not accepted, when sometimes people are like looking at us like, oh yeah, come on in, and then behind your back like, oh, screw that person. There's that lack of integrity, that incongruency that you sense. You're like, what like, why aren't we connecting? What is like, and then you have that moment and you confide in them and you feel like you need someone to talk to, and then they go and share what you just shared in confidence, because like, oh, can you believe? And then our relationships fall apart because they're not based in strong foundations.
That trust, right, is the foundation.
Right.
And I think, a lot of the people that I work with end up finding they don't have a lot of people that they can go to like that they can trust. I was going to name my office The Vault. There used to be a club in the 90s I used to go to called The Vault. But I wanted to call it that because to give that air of like feeling safe or whatever. But yeah, just knowing that we're not doing people favors by sticking in things that we have resentment for, or we don't like the people that we're around. Release them onto better opportunities. I mean, the most Googled phrase sometimes too in relationships are that women Google. One is, how do I get him to commit? The second most Googled phrase is, why do I hate my husband? How do I get him to commit? And why do I hate him? We're so busy getting people to like us that we don't stop and go, do I like you?
Well,
no, I don't.
And of course, that goes to a deeper thing, is that speaks to how you feel about yourself, that you're looking outside for someone to validate you and give you the sense of worth, because you're questioning it in yourself, and then you allow, that's how you lower your standards and tolerate and allow that sort of negative person in your life.
So Jen's asking a really good question. Yep. She said yesterday morning she had a situation with a coworker who was miserable and kept provoking me. I ended up engaging with her and it ruined my morning. How do you handle something like that? So I'm a big believer in accepting people's nature, finding your own true nature and other people's nature, and not expecting a dog to cluck, right? Like that's the definition of insanity, is like going around and being like, oh, it's a chicken. I wonder if it'll meow today. No shit, that's going to cluck. Okay. So your coworker is what she is, or who she is and how she's wired. And your interaction with her is your like denial of who she is, or your desire to change or win her over or something else. So look, there are so many times that I walk into the fire before I go, man, that's hot. Why do I keep burning myself? Do not engage. Disengage. Not today, Satan. I'm not getting on your crazy train. All aboard. Honey, this is my stop. See, so I just don't fall into it. You know? Right. So ask yourself, what was in it for you to engage with her? Did you have something to prove? Were you going to try to win her over? What was your ego thinking in that moment? Because your spirit knew better walking in. It's like, it's going to be bad.
And in these situations, one of the great questions is what do I want from this engagement? Right.
Look at these hearts.
Yeah, I think it's Jen. Is that like, what do I want from this engagement?
I love that.
Right. So if like you're wanting to engage and get frustrated and ruin your day, then by all means
do it.
Engage, right? There's no judgment here, but no, that's your outcome.
Right.
But if you say, what's my outcome? What do I want to experience? I want to have a great day. Will engaging with this person provide that good day, that great day? And if the answer is no, then you say, hey, honey, I know you're having a bad day. It's not working for me. So
not even that.
well, I might like say, I might tell them, sorry, I'm not going to engage in this, like that was what I was preparing to say to that one guy, like, hey, if you're going to be doing that, I'm not going to have that conversation. I agree with you that, maybe you guys two playing together is not a good idea, and I'm totally cool with that, but I'm not going to get into a conversation about it. That's what I mean.
That's a different situation.
Yeah.
So if I'm with a coworker and I think, oh God, they're doing that thing again, they're provoking me. Your mistake is in thinking they're provoking you. Right. So when a chicken is clucking, you take it personally because the chicken just clucks. It has nothing to do with you. So if you can disassociate yourself and stop making up the meaning they're provoking me to the dog's barking. Oh, that's annoying this morning. I don't want to listen to the dog bark. I'm going to move. That's better than going, that dog's barking at me and that dog is barking for me. No, the dog's just barking because the dog barks. Move, get out of the earshot of it. So don't take other people's behavior has nothing to do with you. It has nothing to do with you. So that's my mantra. And that's what I really work with clients to understand is like other people's stuff has nothing to do with you. It's their stuff. And once you let people have their business, there's your business, their business, and God's business. And once you figure out whose business is whose, your life is totally transformed. Deb, good morning. Deb, I told Doug that you didn't like his do-rag and he didn't wear it this morning. Yes, I realized in retrospect that it wasn't worth it. She was looking for an argument and I gave it to her. Yeah, so again, dogs are barking.
Well,
let them bark. It has nothing to do with you.
The other thing that sometimes what they're really saying, if someone's provoking you and all of that, what they're really saying is, I need some love. I need some connection. I need something. And that's a whole other conversation. But, in that moment, I hear you and I got to go or whatever. They get a little, I know that's another rabbit hole to go down.
What I love about you is you have this, you have this sensibility about you that everybody just wants love. It's a call for love or an expression of love. Marianne Williamson, right? Everybody's behavior is a cry for love or an expression of love. And so you subscribe to that philosophy, but I have to tell you, some people's love you don't need. All right.
Not in dispute.
So,
I'm just saying that so you don't get wrapped up. To be like, I have to leave this place. That's the other thing what sometimes do, and they get resentful. True. But here's what happens to most people. Most people that are so kind-hearted go, oh, you just want love. Then they go, oh, it's my job. Then I'll come in and teach you how to get love or mold you or fix you or shape you. I have so many women that I work irrelevant. To what I'm saying, like the big picture. I have so many people that I work with in my practice that are brilliant like this, that can make meaning out of things and understand people's bigger picture, and they just want love and they just want. But what happens is they get sucked in so just because you can understand somebody's dysfunctional behavior doesn't mean you have to put up with it, tolerate it, or engage in it. So make it a habit of notice that about them, and that's a good perspective. But keep it trucking. I wasn't suggesting.
No, I know you weren't. It was just a good point for me to make.
Yeah. It's more of just so. Again, even there's multiple layers of awareness. So even if you have the awareness where you got to protect yourself and all of that, sometimes people could get still resentful and pissed off and create this whole thing instead of just going, oh, poor thing. They're just looking for love and not make them bad or wrong and all of that, which can long-term lead to feeling better in your own heart, not elsewhere. It's just, that's all.
For me, as soon as I say, oh yeah, they want love, then I feel compelled to love them or find a way. And for me, sometimes
actively love them. I just mean not be filled with anger and frustration.
Exactly. So sometimes either the neutrality of just, it's a dog, it barks and leave it there, or they just want love, but that's not the kind of love that I'm prepared to give. Right. Either way, you're releasing yourself from the responsibility of feeling like you have to do something with it. Christopher says, awesome word, guys. My favorite thing to do is when people are negative or blah with a comment, I turn around with a positive comment and walk away with a smile.
Right, yeah. Because ultimately, it's because we want to feel good. So even being angry at the fact that, because that's the other thing is that we're expecting someone to be a certain way. And when they're not, and that was what Heidi's sharing, like we're expecting a chicken to be a dog or vice versa. And then we get, well, it should be this way. They shouldn't, the world shouldn't be that way. Or they shouldn't. Yeah, instead of going, oh, okay. Reality. And come from my perspective anyway, I do my best because otherwise then I'll get pissed off and be like, why? Is to Just be like, oh, okay. What they're looking for is love and all that. I'm not going to be giving it to them, but I'm going to have the love in my heart. So I'm going to feel good about my decision because I'm coming from that perspective rather than like, well, screw that person. I'm not going to let that crap get in my way. And meanwhile, I'm getting crap all over me by being negative about it. That's all I was really getting at.
Yeah. Self-righteousness versus reality. It's not supposed to be this way. I wish it wasn't this way. Byron Katie has, she does a lot of really wonderful work in the world, and it's called The Work. And her book is called Loving What Is. And it really is a way to start to question some of our thoughts, right? Like, oh, this person's provoking me. And she has a 4-step process. Like, is that really true? And just by that's the first question. And even by just asking yourself, is that really true that that person's provoking me? You get to question your own reality and say, well, no, it could just be that that's the dog barking. It could just be, have nothing to do with it. It could just be that they want love. You can make up other meanings. There are so many meanings you can make up about other people's behavior. I love whenever somebody is acting cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, right, in my space, to say, what else could this mean? What else could this mean that they're behaving this way? And anything other than something that had to do with me, then I'm on the right track. Because 9 times out of 10, almost 10 times out of 10, other people's behavior has nothing to do with you.
And by the way, that's even if it's something that you may or may not have done.
Yeah.
Because it's all back to their interpretation, their all of that, and it's all on them. And then again, of course, we take responsibility. How am I responding to it? What meaning am I giving it? And it becomes this dance. But that awareness and the ability to ask more powerful questions about, what's really going on. Is that really true? And I mean, this, no one taught us this stuff really growing up. Like we were told,
make another meaning of that.
Yeah, no, we were told this means that. This is this is that. Growing
you're
up.
Annoying people. You're the cause of everybody's problems in the world. You're the cause of all my feelings. You're the cause of my annoyance. So somebody like me was like a breeding ground for codependency. Like, oh yeah, I'm making everybody. Like, that's what I used to believe. I am responsible for your feelings all the time, and everything I do is triggering or affecting everybody else. And on a quantum level, that's true. We're all one. But it's so naive to think that I'm responsible for somebody else's feelings. I'm not, right? But I had to unlearn that. And that's part of this process. Has taken so long. That's why I'm so passionate about helping people unravel their codependency, because it was crippling for me. Not wanting to, even just now, when we had that little thing, right, where I would say something and you would have a different perspective. In the past, my people pleasing would be like, no, let him understand that I'm trying. Now I can just be like, well, he has a different perspective and I have a different perspective. Cool. It's like so much more empowering to be a place to be in, to just let things roll and be what they are and not feel like I have to control them or fix them or whatever. And you don't realize what a big deal that is until you're on the other side of it. Right?
Oh my gosh, I spent a lot of time trying to
like with initiating this conversation, like in the beginning with the racquetball analogy. In the past, if I would have been the girl that everybody was talking about, I would have done everything else other than say, I'm just not gonna play with you guys anymore. I would have tried to win them over. I would have tried to pretend like it didn't bother me. I would have been passive aggressive. I would have smiled. I would have done everything I could have possibly done except what I needed to do, which was go, not my people. Now I do that. I've done that in my own life. I've exited friendships and said, this isn't working for me anymore. I don't like this. I'm going to tell you, it is a life changer. It is a game changer when you're able to stand in your truth and claim that it's not your job to win over, like that quote. You're not the jackass whisperer. It's not your job to win over the haters. You know what I mean? It's your job to find your tribe and be with the people who really love and enjoy you and engage with you, and the people that don't care, they're not your people.
Well,
not your people.
A couple things. One, what Heidi shared as far as like growing up, what she was told and all of that. That's one way we experience it. But here's the other way that this exact same thing happens, where you learn at an early age that sort of codependency and your impact. When I was a little kid, the short story is I overdosed on baby aspirin. No, cyanide. Cyanide, not cyanide. Cyanide. I ate a whole box of cyanide when I was a little kid, and I got my stomach pumped. I was taken to the hospital. I was like 4 years old. And when I woke up from this whole thing, my parents were in the hospital, and they were freaking out. And they're like, how could you do this to us? So then what I learned was, oh my gosh, I have this negative impact. I'm, I hurt people I love without even realizing it. So I became like this super people pleaser on that level because
very careful about everything you would say and do. And,
right. And so we learn all of these things, like a thing happens in our lives at whatever age, something big happens. And based on the resources we have available at that time, we make a meaning out of it and then stack meanings on top of it. And then we look for evidences of those meanings, which makes them even stronger. And then we create this construct that we're running all of our experiences through that aren't even true, which is why that powerful question, is that really true? What else could that mean?
What else could this mean?
And
what if it wasn't about me? What could it be about?
Yeah.
Like when other people do stuff, it's like, even when the people that don't like you or me, well, what else, if it's not about me, what else could it be about? Oh, maybe they have their own shit.
Maybe they're having a bad day.
Can I end with this really cute story that I love?
Yes, but first, the other thing I just wanted to share is when that whole thing with the racquetball thing happened, to tie that up, I said to the one guy who we stayed and played, I told him, I said, you know what? I'm not going to, if he asks if we're playing, I'm just going to say, you know what? I'm not going to, I'm basically going to not bring you two together anymore. Cause I was the person who, like, I played with him, played with the other guy, and then we started playing together. And I said, I'm not going to let him come. He's not invited. And I was going to create that environment because I didn't want to be in the middle of it.
Don't want to be uncomfortable.
Yeah. And, but then it turned out it happened organically. And I think also part of that was because of the energy that I had around it, that I wasn't like, I didn't try and I wasn't trying to be a peacemaker. I wasn't trying to solve everyone's problems. I just let them be. And then, navigated my way through it, which is I just, I don't get upset with all of that. But it organically happened because I think a little bit of the influence I had in that, but go ahead. Meaning cosmically, quantumly.
Well, just, to be reassured that it's okay if we walk away from friendships or not everybody likes us or whatever it is, it's okay to pull ourselves out of situations like that. Leo Buscaglia told this great story about the peach and the plum. And there's this, some people, love, peaches and so once a day, one time there was this plum and she looked around that everybody was really loving peaches, right? So she tried everything she could possibly do to be a peach. But when people would be around her, they'd be like, there's something different about you. There's off about you. You're not quite measuring up to what I expect you to be. And she tried everything in her power to be the best peach she could, but she always fell short and she never really found the great love and appreciation for who she really was because she could try her best and only thing she would ever become is a second-rate peach. But she can be herself and be a first-rate plum. And the reality is lots of people freaking love plums, right? And so that's true with you too, is that you can try to fit in and mold and bend to who everybody else wants you to be or just be you and find the people who really smell what you're stepping in, who really pick up what you're laying down, who really dig you. And that is the secret to life, is to find your tribe and stop your job isn't to have everybody like you. It's to find the true loves and the people that really resonate.
Your job first is to
love yourself.
Love God.
When you love yourself, everything else resonates. I mean, that's my whole program, right? Yeah. Love yourself first. When you love yourself first, that's when you can make those radical decisions of not my people, not today, Satan. No thanks. You're a dog. I'm not into your barking. And you could just meander through your life, and wow, it's a radical concept to be free, right? We love you very much.
Well, I just reminded me of that's right. What was that movie with?
Hey, Ellie, you want to come say goodbye?
With Ben Stiller and Jennifer Aniston, where he
Alone Came Polly.
Yes, and what's his name from The Simpsons? Remember, he was the scuba instructor. Are you for scuba?
Oh yeah.
And he's the hippopotamus. Do you remember that story about it was that peach and plum story?
Yeah.
But he just told it with this funny French accent, and the hippopotamus, he put on the stripes. I'm zebra.
Oh yeah,
and he said,
zebra.
No, you are not a zebra. You are a hippopotamus. And he just tried so hard to be everything but a hippo, till finally one day he accepted.
Come on, baby.
He was a hippo.
Oh, okay.
All right. Well, so.
Ellie wants to show you guys something.
Now our plum's in season. Yes. Okay. So Ellie, if you may have, if you've been following at all, Ellie's teacher at school, she gets smiley faces for doing a good job, and then she also will get a different face. So there's like a smirk face or whatever, and these are hand-drawn little experiences. So and there'll be a little note as to why it wasn't a full-on smile, but she's very proud. What'd you get, Ellie? I didn't see you yesterday when you came home.
Smiley face.
Watch your step. You got a smiley face. Oh my goodness.
So welcome to Kids Channel. So I got a smiley face from school.
That's a big smile.
You really can't really see a little bit, but kind of, yeah.
Oh, that's too bright.
Mhm.
Yep, there's your smiley face. Great. Oh, no, other way.
And how'd you get that?
Yeah, what'd you do to get the smiley face?
So I got this from McDonald's.
You got that from old McDonald's?
Yes.
I mean,
And did you decide that you don't
this
like
is the toy that came with McDonald's?
Yeah.
So that's why she wanted to go, and she doesn't like McDonald's.
Mhm.
So do you want to tell our friends anything about having a great day or what you think?
So today you could really do it to school, yeah. Have some dance party, yeah. Dance.
And you like to dance?
Yeah.
Do you like to sing?
And yeah. And especially, by the way, you can have some poop breakfast.
Oh, poop for breakfast.
What?
Yeah, that's
Is that what you had? Did we
delicious.
make you poop for breakfast?
I like poop breakfast.
Oh, yeah,
It's
me
yummy.
too.
It
That's,
still looks so good.
yeah, we could go to poop on McDonald's.
Oh yeah. It's
Old McDonald's is poop.
Anything else that you want to say about today and for your friends?
So really, you could do this. Yay! You could get a smiley face. I have 10 smily faces.
You have 10 smiley faces?
All right.
You must have been a good listener.
And so today we're every
Oh, I need this.
day.
Okay.
All right, so
Okay.
So,
We love you guys.
so-
Have a great day today.
I hope you have a poop day.
No,
No, that's not
that's not
nice.
nice. A great day. A
Wanna
great
go
day.
poop on McDonald's.
No thanks. I'm full
That's
of poop.
gross.
No,
All
I'm
right.
not full of poop. Actually, that's bad to say that.
Oh.
No, we don't want to eat poop, right? We want to eat like. Actually, that's what LEV in life. Mommy teaches people how to eat less poop. Actually, I know that sounds crazy, but I teach people how to eat less poop because that's not your job at the buffet of life.
So
To eat poop.
I hope you have cotton candy.
That's a better thing to eat in life. The sweet. Yes.
I hope you have cotton candy and
Yes.
eat it all.
A sweet life. I hope you eat all the cotton candy because that's goodness of life.
I hope you're gonna go to a dance party.
Me too.
I hope you're gonna.
Okay.
I hope it's gonna be your birthday.
It's your birthday. Oh yeah. Okay.
All right, we love you.
I love you. Have a great day. Bye.
Bye.